So this is what we are going to create today. So let's create it. So now let's create this boilerplate first, and we will change this name to title to sign up, and after that we will link this CSS file style sheet href style.css, and after this we will link the script file source app.js. So you might notice that I'm using the script file in the head tag only. To use the script style in the head tag, we need to write this word defer. We'll do, we will create a div name container inside which all the contents will be there, and inside this container we will create one div named content. Like we will divide the div into two halves, one will be the image part and another will be the content part. So inside this we will name this div as content, and inside this content we will have two things. The first thing will be the h1 tag, and inside that h1 tag there will be stay updates. So now you can see the live server is also working properly, and after that we will write one paragraph, and we will give a class name to this paragraph, and the class name will be para. And inside this paragraph we will write something like join 60,000 plus product managers receiving monthly updates now. And after that we will create another div, and inside this div we will give the list content and the image. Div dot list. Inside this list we will have one svg image, and the image is, it's inside, I have kept these images inside images folder icon, and it's the first one. Now you can see we are getting this icon here. Like this we will create three or four icons, and we will give one paragraph also here. I'm getting all this data from the front-end mentors. I'm taking this project from front-end mentors only. Product discovery and building what matters. We will style all of the things, then it will look good. Let me create another div name list, and inside this also we will have one image, and the image will be same. Let me copy those things. So inside this let me change the content of this paragraph, and the content is measuring to ensure updates are a success, and we will change this paragraph as well, and much more. So we have three paragraphs here, and after this what we will do, we will add one email section. So we will give a label to that email, and inside this email, inside this label we will write email address. Now we will give the input field, and the type of this input field will be email, and we will also give class name to this input field, and the class name will be email. Now you can see we have this input field also here. And now what we will do, we will give a span tag where we will show the error, and we will give the class name of this span tag as email error. And inside this span tag, now we will write valid email required. Later on we will make this content dynamic. We will the content will come dynamically here with the use of the JavaScript, but now I will hardcode the data. And after this, what we will do, we will create a button, and the name of, and inside this button we will create one anchor tag, so that we can, when we click on this button, then we can go to another page. And inside this anchor tag we will give href is equal to message dot html. Now you can see, if we click on this, okay, we have not given anything inside this href. The name of the button will be subscribe to monthly newsletter. Okay, now it is fine. Now when we click on this newsletter, we will go to another page. Now the another page is empty, but soon we will give some data there also. So now let's go to the one more thing we have to add, and that is we have to give one image. There are two divs inside this container. The first one is content, in which all of these contents are there, and the second one will be the image. Let me format this document. So after this we will add the image, and we will give a div named image, and inside this div we will have the image. Let me add the image. The image is dot slash images slash image dot svg. So now you can see we have got one image also here. Now let's style these things. So we will go to the style file, and here first we will give this default values. Margin will be 0, padding will be 0, and box sizing will be border box. Now let's give style to body. So body background color will be RGB 36, 26 and 100. We have changed the background color, and after that what we will do, we will use display flex. But now you can see the items are not getting display flex. The display property is not working. We have to give a height to it, and the items will be aligned as center, and justify content will be center. Now you can see it has got some of the stylings but not everything. So what we will do, what we have done here, we have styled this whole container. Now we will use flexbox inside this container so that the things get aligned in a proper way. Container, and we will give height to this container, and the height will be 30 rem. I will give all of these things in rem only. I will not use pixels so that I get easy to apply media queries to make this responsive. Width will be 40 rem. Padding will be 1 rem, 1 rem, and the background color will be white. Now you can see it is looking a little bit good, but we have to do a lot of styling here. The border radius will be 0.8 rem. We will apply display flex. Now the things are getting aligned, and we will give overflow as hidden. So now you can see the image is also aligned and this thing is also aligned, but these are taking a lot of space, so we have to divide the space properly. So we will select, first we will style this h1. So for h1 the margin top will be 0.5 rem and the padding will be 0.5 rem. So now this h1 has taken a proper shape and proper space. Now let's give some margin to this paragraph. So this paragraph will have margin bottom. We have to also set margin bottom for this also. So let's give margin bottom here also 5 rem and padding will be 0.5 rem. So now this paragraph is also looking good. Now let's give some styling to this content, the whole content page, and the content page must have the width of 60% and height of 100 vh. Now let's give some styling to this image. So inside this image, what we will do, image is a class, so we have to give this dot. Image height will be 100 vh and the width will be 40%. And we will also give some margin. So margin will be 1 rem, 1 rem. Now we will give this styling to this list items. These list items, we will align them properly. So for list, we will give display flex. And the gap will give a gap of 0.4 rem. And we will also give the padding of 0.3 rem. Now you can see these are aligned. And after this, what we will do, we will work on this label. Inside the label there is one thing, that is email address. So in label we will write font weight. We will increase the font weight of the label. It will be 700, and we will give a margin, and the margin is 0.5 rem and 0. And after that, what we will do, we will give this some styling to this input field. First we will give this styling to this email, valid email. We want this valid email to be here, so we have to give the styling. So for that, what we will do, we will select email error, and inside email error we will give margin 000 5.5 rem. And the color will be red. It is not aligned properly now because we have not given styling to the input field, so we will give it styling to the input field first. So for input field, the padding will be 0.5 rem, and width 100%, and margin bottom 1 rem. I think I have given this valid email required below this email address, so I have to improve that. Yes, I have given this below this input field. We have to give it above this input field. So now you can see it is getting, it is in proper place. We will, when we will work on this responsive design, then we will work on this. Otherwise, when we will be in full screen, you can see it is working perfectly fine. So now let's style the button. So for the button, what we will do, we will give a width of, the width will be 100%, and height will be 2 rem. Padding will be 1 rem. Border radius will be 0.5 rem. And we will give display flex and justify content center, and also align item center. And we will give this border none, so that look little bit good. And we have to give background color to it. So background color will be RGB 11,7,36. And the color will be white. Okay, color white is not working here because we have given it inside an anchor tag, so we have to apply this color white inside the anchor tag. So let's select the anchor tag. There is only one anchor tag, so we will select it using anchor tag only. So text decoration we have to give none, so that this underline should go from here, and the color will be white. Now it's looking pretty good. Now what we need to do, we need to give this message container, we have to create another HTML file, and we will style it. So let's create another HTML file. It is message.html. Here what we will do, we will open a boilerplate, and inside this boilerplate we will give this title as message, and we will link the CSS, the same CSS file and the same JavaScript file. Relation will be style sheet and href style.css. For a script file, we will write a script and src is equal to app.js, and after this we will use the defer keyword so that it work properly. And here we will create one div dot with its name is message container message container, and inside this message container we will have all of our contents. So let me open this also. Let me write the other codes. So inside this we will have one image, that icon image, but this time it will be a little bit of bigger size, little bit in bigger size. Src dot slash images slash this success icon will be there. Okay, now you can see we have got this success icon. We will style all of the things later on. So inside h1 tag, what we need to write? We need to write thanks for subscribing, and we will also give class name to this, and the class name is thanks message. And after this what we will do, we will write one paragraph here, and let's give class name to this paragraph. So class name will be thanks para. So after writing this paragraph, what we will do, we will add one button here. On clicking that button, this whole content will be invisible from here. So let's give the button. So we will give the class name as dismiss button, and inside this button we will write the name of the button, and the name will be dismiss message. So now you can see the button is visible here. So let's give styling to this. So to give styling, what we will do, we will first target this message container, and inside this message container we will give a height of 20 rem and a width of 25 rem, and we will give background color white. Now you can see we have got all of these things. Now we will give a padding of 1 rem, and after this padding we will give border radius of 0.5 rem. Now we will style this paragraph, and its class name is thanks message. Inside this we will only give a margin bottom which will be of 0.5 rem. After that we will give this thanks paragraph styling, and here also we will give margin bottom 0.5 rem. Now you can see it is looking good. Now we have to make this text white, so we will style this button. Here we will give color white. Now it's looking good. Now what we need to do, let's apply this media queries here to make it responsive. So we will use media query, media, and first max width will be 998 pixel, and inside this we will take the HTML element and we will keep the font size as 70%. Now you can see the changes here, and after that we will apply another media query of max width 768 pixel, and inside this also we will take the HTML element and we will set font size 75%. Now you can see the screen is big, then it is looking like this, and when it is small it is looking like this. Now let's go to the app.js part. We need to add a lot of functionalities here, so let me open this live server first. So now here also the media queries has been applied, you can see here also. Now what we need to do, we need to add the validation for this email. So to add the validation for the email, what we need to do, we need to first take the reference of first we will take the reference of this email error section, email error span tag. There is one span tag whose class is email error. We will take that document dot query selector, and it is email error. And after this we will take reference of the email input section. So document dot query selector, and we will select email, and after this we will write a function. The name of the function we will keep as validate, and inside this validate function what we will do, we will take the value of this input field. So how we can take it by writing const, we can simply take it by writing email dot value, or we can do one thing, we can copy it from here and just paste it here. After this we will simply give dot value, and we will get the value of this input section. After this what we will do, we will compare that if email dot length, if the length of the email is equal to 0, then there should be one error. And what error there should be, there should be email error dot inner HTML is equal to required a valid email required, and then we will return a false statement for it. And after this we will check another condition. If email is not equal to this thing, which we will match, what we will match, you can got this thing from my previous video or from the code also, from the code of this video also, or you can just google it and you will find this thing. So what we need to match, we need to match this. If it is like this, if it is not like this, then email error should give an error, and the error will be same: validate email required, sorry, valid email required. We have hard coded this value, so we have to remove this value from here first, otherwise it will be visible all the time. So now you can see it's not visible here. And another thing, we will now return a false statement again. Now let's check it. But to check it, what we will do, when we click on this, if we have not written anything, see, it is redirecting it directly from here, but we do not need it to redirect it. We only need it to redirect here if and only if the condition, there we will give another condition. If it is fulfilled, then only we can redirect it to next page. So we will write the functionality at const dismiss we can check it here, like if we are clicking on something else, let me refresh it, and we will write this function inside this button. We will create one on click, we will write on click, and inside this we will call this function. So whenever we will write here something and click on this, let me disable this thing first, otherwise it will redirect us to the next page. And whatever, then if it is not an valid email, then it will give valid email required, and if it is valid email, like midventure coding @gmail.com, and we will click on this, then it will not give that message of valid email required. So when it is valid, then only the page will redirect to the another page. So what we need to do for that, now when we click on this, like message.html midventure @gmail.com, and when we click on there, then it will redirect us to this page, and when we will click on this dismiss message, then it should disappear from here. So let's write the functionality for that. So to write the functionality for that, what we need to do, we need to take reference of this dismiss button, document dot query selector dismiss button and we will write a function, and function name is dismiss, and we will use on click document dot query selector, and inside query selector we will select this message container, and message container, and we will target is style, and after style we will target the display of this style of this container, sorry, and after that we will make it none. Now we have to use on click dismiss. Now in this, inside this button we will write on click, and now when we will click on this, it will disappear. Something went wrong. Message container, here I have to write style. VS Code is automatically giving some of these things. So now when you click on this dismiss, then it disappears. So now it is perfectly working. Now you can get